When it comes to Magic the Gathering, do you know the difference between as this enters and when this enters? My previous video, Did I Break Magic the Gathering Again, has had a number of comments on it saying that a Shocklands life payment is something you have to pay when it enters the battlefield, and I figured I should make a video to explain why that's not quite correct and what the difference is. But to start, let's talk about zones. A zone is just a place where an object can be. Outside of anti-games, there are 7 zones: library, hand, battlefield, graveyard, stack, exile, and command. Some abilities care about changing zones. These abilities are called zone change triggers. Anything that's written when this enters the battlefield is an enters the battlefield ability, which themselves are zone change triggers. These abilities trigger when the object is already on the battlefield. An example of this kind of ability would be Ambulatory Edifice. When it enters the battlefield, you can pay 2 life, and when you do, something happens. However, Breeding Pool and Friends are not written like this. They're written as this enters the battlefield, you may pay 2 life. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. It's not a trigger. The land doesn't enter and then you choose to either pay 2 life or not. The choice is made as it enters. The rules call this out. As this permanent enters the battlefield, it's a replacement effect, not a triggered ability. What's also interesting is Rule 614.12a. If a replacement effect that modifies how a permanent enters the battlefield requires a choice, that choice is made before the permanent enters the battlefield. And remember, objects only exist in zones. Another thing to remember is that playing a land doesn't use the stack zone. The land simply goes from your hand zone to the battlefield zone. So if Breeding Pool is entering the battlefield from my library due to Bolas's Citadel, the choice of whether to pay the 2 life for Breeding Pool is made while Breeding Pool is on top of my library. There's no in-between zone as much as Arena would like you to believe there might be. So this is where the confusion came in the previous video. When you throw Ashiok Wicked Manipulator into the mix, you suddenly have a situation where you're given the opportunity to pay life, which is replaced by milling cards due to Ashiok's ability. So at the time it was a little bit confusing. Are you supposed to mill the land? Does it enter from exile? The wonderful Jackal Girl had the answer. Of course, there was a new rule. 614.13c has been added to cover this explicit case. It reads, while applying a replacement effect that modifies how a permanent enters the battlefield, another replacement effect may cause a player to mill cards or exile cards from the top of a library. In that case, any card that is entering the battlefield from that library won't be included in that effect, even though those cards are in the library as the effect is applied. Example: Ashiok Wicked Manipulator has an ability that reads, if you would pay life while your ability has at least that many cards in it, exile that many cards from the top of your library instead. Breeding Pool is a land that reads in part, as Breeding Pool enters the battlefield you may pay 2 life. If an effect allows a player to play Breeding Pool from the top of their library while they control Ashiok, and they choose to pay life as Breeding Pool enters, Ashiok's replacement effect will ignore Breeding Pool because it's entering the battlefield, and the next 2 cards will be exiled. So, I didn't break Magic the Gathering. Instead, I probably just broke Arena, which is still impressive given the excellent rules engine they've got. I hope this little dive into the rules has been useful. If you want to see more, like the video and leave me a comment telling me what to cover.